Welcome to episode 8 of Gaston Digital Great Ideas. I'm your host, Chris Goodson. Whether you're teaching virtually or you're in the classroom on an AB schedule, finding the time to present content to students has been a challenge this year. Today, we talk with Gaston Virtual Academy teacher Noelle Vandermeede about how she uses the power of video to reach her students. If you're enjoying the show, be sure to like the episode and click that subscribe button. Now, let's get to the interview. All right. So welcome, everyone. I'd like to welcome Noelle Vandermeede to the show. Noelle, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name is Noelle Vandermeede, and I'm teaching 7th grade at GVA, Gaston Virtual Academy, this year. My home school is Mount Holly Middle School, and I have been there for 27 years, 25 years.
Oh.
And so I'm doing the virtual thing as a temporary stint for right now. So I'm having a really good experience. So
good. Okay. Well, one of the things that I saw that I really loved about what you're doing this year is that you're doing a lot of videos, and for lack of a better term, I know we overuse the term flipped, but basically videos that are designed to deliver instruction to your students in relatively small packages. So tell us a little bit about why you decided to make a lot of those, how it's going, what your sort of philosophy on that is, the big picture first, and then we'll get into the details.
Well, I think for virtual instruction, I have to acknowledge that my students aren't necessarily going to have the connectivity that they would need to attend live classes every single day. The technology, even though we're giving them a computer and we're giving them hotspots, that's not 100% dependable. And sometimes they genuinely aren't home, or they're not there to come to a live class. So it's no substitution for live instruction, but it does give them enough of the instruction and some demonstration and modeling before they are having to try to do the assignment on their own. Also, frankly, I don't know about you, but I've definitely at the end of the day feel a Zoom fatigue. And I find that some of my students by the end of the day or first thing in the morning, they just emotionally can't deal with getting on another Zoom call. And so sometimes they're like, you know what, today I'm just going to watch the video and do the assignment. And and they email me for help, or they're still engaged. So it's more of a scaffolding stopgap than with flipping, because I actually teach that same lesson live.
Gotcha.
Sometimes differently in my live classes. So something that might be a modeling in video in class is more of an inquiry type lesson, because I can do that live. And so that was the original purpose of it. But, the kids they'll rewatch it if they need to, or.
Well, yeah, that was one thing.
Tell them to rewatch it.
Yeah, that was one of the things I wanted to touch on, because I mean, every time, I talk to teachers who are doing things like this, I flash back to 7th grade math when I was in 7th grade math, and I was not the strongest math student, and just the ability, thinking back to having, a 5 to 10 minute video walking me through that step that I thought I got when I was in class, but am 8 o'clock at night at home trying to do question number 32, and I can't get it. And just the ability to be able to go back and re-watch the instruction, that seems pretty huge.
It is huge, and I get to make it so they're not just going to Khan Academy or YouTube and watching just anyone else explain it. It's me explaining it, and the benefit that brings is what I'm explaining fits into my whole unit.
Yeah.
And it connects to what we have done and what we're going to do. So when they hear me explain it, that's the benefit of just sending them a video. Now, I've done that too. There are times that
Sure.
I've got several who will not punctuate, who will not capitalize a letter, who will not, and so I find a video on YouTube about that. I try to find the most elementary, simplistic, video I can find in a short one, and I'll post that in the comments and say, watch this video and correct that, or I'll send them a link to Grammarly so I use outside links too. I don't just do me, but I think the benefit, and at first it took me a long time to make, but now it's more like, it doesn't take very long.
The more you do, the faster it goes.
Yeah. And they're not all pretty. I mean, sometimes Sometimes they're kind of clunky, but they don't care. It's just like sometimes things are clunky.
Yeah, and I've been talking to teachers about that too, and it's just like, don't let perfect be the enemy of the good when you're making videos for yourself. It's just like in class, if you flub a word, you just stop and go back and correct yourself and keep going. And there's no need to try to do fancy editing to take some of that out when you just do it. It's getting the content in front of the kids that's important. I like how you talked about curating resources as well. I'm gonna pull up one of your playlists. This is one of Noelle's playlists that she sent to me to take a look at, and I just want everybody to kind of take a look at what this is like. So what's neat about it is she has videos that she's done, and then mixed in with it are other videos that that she's pulled up. I may have pulled the wrong one up, but yeah, here we go. So here's a cause and effect. So it's being able to do a mix of your videos and outside videos, but still that fit into your lessons and the way you're teaching them. That looks like that's a big thing.
Yeah, it is. And a lot of times what I've been able to do is sometimes I'll splice in, I might use a little bit of, GCS professional development skills, and splice in something into iMovie with me. And so I can say, did you see how we did that? Let me show you how we're going to do it in class. You see how they did that? And I can splice that in. And in language arts, we use a lot of, mentor text. And in this unit we're doing is Hidden Figures. And so I was able to splice in some of those Hidden Figures clips, copyright claims, because they were short clips from Hidden Figures, but because it's unlisted, all my stuff is unlisted for a couple reasons. One, mainly for copyright, because not only are some of the things I'll use that are copywritten, but the unit that I'm teaching belongs to Teacher College, and I don't want to. It's not just the text; it's the actual intellectual property of the teachers who wrote those lessons.
Exactly.
And so
just so everybody understands, there are three when you're making a YouTube playlist, and that's what Noelle's has put up here, and we'll talk more about that in a second. But when you're making a YouTube playlist like that, you have with videos, you have three options for how you publish them. One is published out there on YouTube for anybody to find and watch. The other end of that is private, where it shares it like Google Docs. So only the people that you share it with can see it. But in the middle, you've got unlisted, which means that anyone who has that link can get to it. But if you do a YouTube search for it, it doesn't come up. And that's a good balance point, like you said, sometimes for what we're doing. I want to show, I want to go back, I want to pull up one of your videos just so people can see just kind of how you do this. And so this is one of those moments where if you're uncomfortable watching yourself on video, now Noelle gets to watch herself on video while on video. But just to pull one up, we talked about Hidden Figures. Here's one with Hidden Figures. So I wanted to show off a couple things here that I love the way you do. You're very conversational with students. You can tell that you're just like when you're teaching in class. You're trying to get the enthusiasm you have for the subject matter in there. But I also wanted to show everybody the kind of really cool split screen thing you've got going on. Now I always tell people this is a little more advanced, so it's okay if you look at this and say, oh, I can't do this right now. That's fine. Just like you said earlier, you've added tips, you've added tricks in as you go, but this is actually not that complicated. Tell us a little bit about how you're doing this. Now, I know you use a Mac, but this can be on other platforms as well.
Yeah, I mean, I do. I use this is, I'm on an 18-inch MacBook. And that gives me the real estate, the screen size gives me the real estate, but you could duplicate that with an inexpensive monitor too. I mean, you have to have it built in like that. So, and so what happened was I was following, Teachergram, Instagram, and there was a teacher who was making videos, and I wanted my videos to look like that. So I just asked her what she did, and she sent me to her YouTube video to show me how to make my YouTube videos.
Very good.
And so all she does is, and I don't know what the equivalent on a Chromebook would be, but on MacBook, you have an app called Photo Booth, and all Photo Booth is a camera. It's just the camera. It doesn't record anything. I mean, you can snap pictures with it, right? But that's it. And so I pull that up and I push it to one side, and then I pull up my document camera and I push it to one side. So I split the screen, which is why the wide screen is and then I use QuickTime just to
record it both. And I'd have to play around with that, but I think you can probably do the same thing on Chromebook. And if I work out a good way to do that, I'll do a little video and link it in the notes to this today to do it.
Yeah, and if all I had were a Chromebook and my knowledge as of right now, without playing around with it, Loom, it's very much just like Loom. I mean, it just gets me a bigger, just bigger, bigger face or a bigger, so here, there's a Loom one, and
because Loom always has that little camera, it has a little picture-in-picture, and so talk about this for a second. Why is that important to you? Why do you want to get your face in there? Because I know it's easy to do a screencast where you just see the screen and you hear the teacher's voice talking. But do you think the students need to see that picture?
Yeah, especially with virtual. I mean, and I think even, I don't know, with what we're going through right now, even in face-to-face instruction, you've got the mask. And so they won't see your face and your facial expressions. And, you can smile all you want, but it's just not the same. And, some people talk with their hands and some people have, we have our communication style, and mine is facial expressions. But I do think that all of us, our kids connect to our face. And I'm really bad about watching people's mouths when they talk. And I'm not necessarily reading lips. I couldn't read their lips if I tried, if I couldn't hear what they were saying, but it helps me concentrate. And I think kids do the same thing. I think sometimes my kids end up watching me talk rather than listening to me. So by having it on video and its face, they can go back and rewatch. But yeah, I really do think that having our face is close to the camera, not way back here, not looking down at them, it's important to them. It makes them feel like they're talking to a real person. And so I learned what I started with a sticky note, and I would put a sticky note right behind a camera and it would say smile. And that's how I learned not to look at myself. So for the longest time, the first couple videos, I kept looking at myself.
Yeah.
And by putting the smile, it taught me. And now I'm just used to talking to that little green dot where the camera is. And
that gets again
weird, but it feels natural now.
Yeah, that gets again to that thing where, I know a lot of teachers I talk to are intimidated by the idea of making videos, but that's what I've learned through this as well, is you do it a few times and it starts to become normal. It starts to become much easier. And then you've got and that's what I always tell people, is then you've got the video forever. And it's so useful and shareable as well. You can work with other teachers.
Well, and that's kind of what I did. So I'll tell you what happened. So I was going into the year teaching sixth grade. So I made our first unit in sixth grade after the launch unit is a character study. And so I made all the videos for it because I was like, I'm going to be on it. I'm going to start out this year right. I'm going to have all my videos made and anybody can use them if they want. But then I got pulled for GVA and I got sent to seventh grade. So I started with the launch unit for seventh grade and then the second unit for seventh grade. So I've done 3 units of these and they've gotten faster and better where I can really kind of put them together pretty quickly. But they're there forever and they're there for anyone to use. And so I've shared out these playlists and I have another friend, Amy Tucker from Cramerton. Collaborated with me on these and she has added her videos in as well.
I was about to say, I think I saw that on one of your playlists. I saw one from her. That's great.
And so now if a teacher in the classroom needs a video for their cohort B to keep up with the curriculum or to keep up we're only going to cover half the stuff this way. If we don't move them somehow, they can put my video or Amy's video in there for their cohort B and let Miss Vandermeet or Miss Tucker teach it. And when you come back, we'll talk about it, but it's done and they can move on and it's just one less thing for them to do. And if we all collaborate and contribute videos, no one's having to really shoulder all the burden. And I say burden, just it is work, but I enjoy the work and I can do it quickly. And so I don't mind doing it. I don't mean to sound like it was a burden, but I just feel like there's some magic in that collaboration that when we all contribute to a playlist, and the kids get to see other people teach it.
Well, that's what I was going to say too, is that there's a lot of value in that, I think, is to see other ways that things are taught. Well, one last question, because we're almost out of time. Things are starting, although we're not looking too good as far as COVID goes right now in the country. A little bit down the road, it's looking a lot more happy. I mean, we can kind of see the light at the end of the tunnel. So once we're done with all this, once we're back in school eventually, what of this do you think you'll bring back to your in-class teaching?
I don't know. I like the way I've got my Canvas set up, where it has the learn about it. And then the next assignment is a practice assignment that we do together. It's very much, I mean, it just follows Reader's Workshop model, which is what that all does. That's gradual release. I don't know that I won't leave the videos in and pull them over for kids to rewatch if they need, or if they miss school, or if they come to class and they don't quite remember, I might send them back, go back to the Learn About It page, watch that video again, or just watch the last 30 seconds of the video, because that's where I give that as instructions. Or
so then you're almost going to use it as differentiation. Yeah,
differentiation, and I think it could flip where they could watch that. That would be what in Reader's Workshop, that would be the mini lesson. And it doesn't have the same magic as a mini lesson, because there's no real good turn and talk, or there's no there's none of that, there's none of that part. But if I needed to spend an hour and a half of class with them reading and working in their notebooks, or really working on the assignment, I feel free to do that, and I don't have to do an extra thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't think I'll give up the videos.
Yeah, great. All right. Well, Noelle, thank you so much for being with us today. A lot of cool things, and good luck the rest of the year.
You too. Good too. I'll be back together soon.
Yes. Thanks for watching. If you want to find out more about flipped video or the other topics we discussed today, head over to our website at bit.ly/great ideas. There you can find notes and links for this episode and links to previous episodes. And don't forget to check out bit.ly/Gaston Digital for the greatest and latest resources and professional development opportunities from your tech facilitators. If you have ideas for the show, message me on Twitter where I'm @Goodson, or fill out the form at the top of our website. Have a great week.